Paul McCartney was dealing with fans camping outside his London home at 7 Cavendish Avenue when he wrote Fixing a Hole in early 1967. These weren't casual admirers. They were persistent groups who hung around day and night, creating what McCartney found to be an unsettling atmosphere. The song's lyrics about people standing there who disagree and never win and wonder why they don't get in my door directly referenced these overzealous fans who couldn't understand why their constant presence wasn't welcomed. McCartney had moved into this St. John's Wood house in March 1966, and the attention from fans had become increasingly intrusive. The real inspiration behind the song came from something far more trippy than home repairs. In his 2021 book, The Lyrics, McCartney revealed that the most important influence was a little blue hole he began seeing after taking LSD for the first time in December 1965. This wasn't metaphorical. It was an actual visual phenomenon that appeared when he closed his eyes, something that still occasionally happens to him decades later. McCartney described it as this absolutely physical phenomenon, something that first appeared after I took acid. I still see it occasionally, and I know exactly what it is. I know exactly what size it is. Despite rumors connecting the song to heroin use due to drug slang about fixing, McCartney clarified it was actually another ode to pot, like his earlier song, Got to Get You Into My Life. The recording session on February 9th, 1967, became one of the Beatles' most unusual studio experiences. Abbey Road was fully booked that night, forcing the band to use Regent Sound Studios on Tottenham Court Road, their first time recording for EMI outside of Abbey Road. But the real strangeness came when McCartney brought an unexpected guest. Earlier that day, a bearded man had buzzed his intercom, claiming to be Jesus Christ. Rather than turn him away, McCartney invited the stranger in for tea and then brought him to the recording session. The man sat quietly in the corner while the Beatles recorded Fixing a Hole, and McCartney never saw him again after that night. The song represented McCartney's desire for artistic freedom and his rebellion against people who told him not to daydream or be creative. Living alone at Cavendish Avenue, he was enjoying his independence and the salonness of his new lifestyle. The lyrics about painting rooms in colorful ways reflected both his literal home decorating and his metaphorical embrace of the psychedelic era's visual explosion. Producer George Martin played the prominent harpsichord part because McCartney wanted to focus on the bass guitar, creating the song's distinctive Baroque pop sound. The recording was completed 12 days later at Abbey Road with additional overdubs. Contrary to popular myth, the song had nothing to do with McCartney doing handyman work on his Scottish farm. He later debunked this story completely, explaining that he didn't do any actual roof repairs until years later when he met Linda. People simply made assumptions based on knowing he owned a farm, creating a fictional narrative that persisted for years. Fixing a Hole remains one of the more personal tracks on Sgt. Pepper's, capturing a specific moment when McCartney was defining his artistic identity while dealing with the pressures of fame.